don't you have that?
I have a little bit of the fire truck, but more of the
Oh, you got the bleachers, not that. She got that. That bleachers. But you know what? It doesn't really matter. We're refocusing on the podium.
if anything, I can just get video.
Hey, no one on. No. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Oh, they don't care. They're not even listening back.
Just letting you know, we're going to get started in just a couple of minutes because we did have somebody show up to actually get oxygen. So we had to turn the truck back on so we can get her started. But we're not going to be a long delay. We didn't want to delay that because that's the whole reason why we're out here.
Question. That was the roof of. Okay, I was wondering. Yeah, why are you anything?
Yeah, me either. My dad was like, yeah, there's a person I don't know about.
They asked me if I could make it.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be off at 1, so yeah, doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. But I just thought they like
I got you said no.
exactly what you want. I'm getting paid to do it.
That's why she's pushing me. Well, I got not about
See, you better see somebody with a big state.
I did have the oxygen.
I worked in West. I was in West Virginia.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like we were 12 hours. So my Thursday I was at work. So then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all still Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We didn't get back until like 7 o'clock by night. So Saturday morning, first 4 hours, I got a 12-hour like turnaround. I had a shift differential, whole load of shifts.
She said we're doing this after. Oh my God, I don't even know. It's all.
And then I also had the energy pay on the first month. Okay.
Like the third thing I've been to. That was last
It was so like heaven. Like I really don't care for it. Right.
Every day to start and where.
I hit that around 6, so I have a couple more hours. Well, usually it's locked in. It has to be like
Is he like in?
She got my shoe.
What's your name? You see how the little guy had one, the other one had 2. She getting her off. Don't worry. She's set. She's set. Because we always waiting for the person. Like, come on, press it. Come on, let's hear about this. Boom.
Did they announce it?
I don't know. I just know. I literally heard about it.
That's what we. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly.
That's when I got text. It was like, what?
Could have just ignored this text. Act like I never saw it.
I wish.
I know.
I'm gone, by the way. What's that guy? Yeah,
Zach.
I'm gone.
Aria.
Are you at the 8?
I am.
Okay.
8 months ago. Yeah, I'm getting close to that next part.
Are you from Radford?
Huh?
Are you from Radford?
I'm from New York.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm from New York. Well, I'm from Connecticut, but I lived in New York.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was born in Korea. Yeah, but I'm from Chicago. Right. Look. Are you Oh, he's at 5. Okay. I couldn't remember. Yeah, we've got a whole load of people going everywhere.
Honestly, all the profiles have worked in at least once. If you haven't, then just give it time.
Grass is always greener.
It's funny because when I first got here, I applied at 5 for 5 days out. And everyone was like, you made the right, no offense, but everyone was like, you made the right decision. I don't know. You know?
You should have.
Right.
5 is the best days I've ever done.
All right.
Yeah.
As long
Hi, folks. How are you?
Doing well. How are you? Zach. Yeah, I met How you doing? I see you all the time on Fox 8, so I know your page and everything.
What was your name?
Dawn.
Don?
Yeah, I know you know Eddie Allen and Peggy.
I know them for a long,
Oh yeah, I know you do. Yeah.
No, it don't matter.
job.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know. We'll have to ask Jennifer.
They'll actually move back to on my side.
I like it. 5.
Right, I know, it's not like, it doesn't.
Saturday.
So you're the only
We have one guy who's
That's like a summer.
Okay, so you're the same level that I am. Okay, okay.
yeah, I got like a 2-hour window.
Okay. Yeah, we don't, we used to have a day shadow tour. Now it's not.
Well, we got an MJ at
Still stressful.
I would hope.
Right, I'm like, sure. The girl next to me was like,
Top 20 cheaper.
All right. That's a cool kind of.
Right back to
So 20 or something.
Before we get started, thank you guys for coming. Sorry for the
no worries.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. All right. Just so you guys know,
So, we have the speakers.
in heart, good for them. Come on out, guys.
Okay, yep. And then, what are we doing? Yeah. Hey, no speaking words. Right? No. Okay.
Anybody else? Hey, Lieutenant. Hey, Sarah. Brian. Sarah.
So what are you talking about? I love that a long time. They give you a time, that means like certain people come back.
Or something now.
Got city councilman here. Yeah. They're coming. It's good. That's what we wanted.
You got everybody? Good afternoon. I'm Chris Ronayne, your Cuyahoga County Executive. Today I declared Cuyahoga County a state of emergency. We've sent Governor DeWine our correspondence, and we've asked the governor to waive what was otherwise some red tape to get here. We need this county to be acknowledged in a state of emergency. It will take state support, and so that waiver is to waive the amount of money collectively that we've already expended on damages. That's $5.9 million. We will get there, and we will have more state and federal support. But today I declared a state of emergency, walking through communities like the city of Brook Park. About 13 communities in Cuyahoga County have been hit very hard this week, as you all know. Hundreds of thousands of Cuyahoegans still are out of power, our family included, and we feel it. We feel that what everybody's been going through. So this is a state of emergency in Cuyahoga County, and today we declared it a state of emergency. I want to thank so many. First of all, our citizens. In the most difficult times, our citizens band together in support of one another. We were up and down the city streets of Brook Park today with our residents, who we noticed they're taking care of one another. They're literally helping move tree limbs off lawns. They're helping repair fences that have gone down. They're helping with just about anything that they can give a helping hand. So thank you to our residents. Second, I want to thank our mayors, two of whom are with me today, and I'm going to introduce in a moment. Ed Orcutt, the mayor of Brook Park, and Marie Gallo, the mayor of Parma Heights. I also want to thank the mayor of Parma, Tim DeGeeter. His chief of staff, Rich Summers, is with us today. But there are 13 hard-hit cities where mayors have been working round the clock with their service teams. And the service teams are the third group I want to thank for their efforts. Our front line has worked with impeccable speed to clean up our communities, our police and fire, and our service departments. That includes the Cuyahoga County Public Works Department. So this is a week that's been very difficult for Cuyahoga County. Our residents still out of power, a lot of loss and damage in this community. Today, I met a family in Brook Park who watched a tornado right outside their kitchen window cut through their backyard, right over on West 130th Street. It has been a devastating journey, but we're thankful the fact that our citizens are safe and our service workers are out servicing their communities. So it's been an all hands on deck effort. And today we declared Cuyahoga County in a state of emergency because we need resources from the state of Ohio, from the federal government, and from FEMA. I want to thank our Office of Emergency Management, who's been working around the clock. Here in Brook Park today, we'll introduce further that they have brought out oxygen tanks. And we've just met two families that have come out to Brook Park in the parking lot here to get their family loved ones the oxygen they need. We want to say to residents, stay together, help your neighbor. And if you're in need of some kind of service, first, contact your city hall, see about your rec centers and what they have to offer in your senior centers, portable places to plug in devices and medical equipment. Again, mayors working across borders to allow the same thing happening from neighbors who may be out of power. So we're grateful to our citizens, to our communities, to our mayors, and to our frontline service workers. Let's keep at it. And today we declare a state of emergency in Cuyahoga County because we need to see resources flow through to this community. I urge our governor to further declare this a state of emergency and to work with us at the state level and the federal level to see FEMA dollars come through. Thank you, Cuyahoegans, for sticking with it, for staying together, for helping one another, and our frontline service teams for doing the work 24/7 that you're doing out in communities like this community in Brook Park. Without further ado, I want to introduce Mayor Ed Orcutt, the mayor of the city of Brook Park.
Thank you very much, Executive Ronayne. For most of you, you already know that on August 6th, shortly before 4 p.m., EF1 tornado touched down here in Brook Park, directly on our community center and city hall. It traveled east at 104 miles per hour, heading towards Parma and Parma Heights, and wreaking havoc over in our southeast corner of our city. Immediately, or approximately 4:15 on August 6th, I declared a state of emergency for the city of Brook Park. Our emergency services went into action. I commend them for all of their hard work and their dedication thus far. Our service department went to work throughout the night, and they've been working for 24 hours for the past 4 days. I'd like to take this time to thank them, and I'd obviously like to take the time to thank the county for stepping up and bringing in extra troops to come here and clear our streets. Not every street is open just yet. We continue to work through this mess, and we'll continue to work through that through the next week or so. The damage that we occurred in our public buildings and parks is extensive. We, at this time, do not know what the monetary price is, but we do know that at our community center we lost a roof that was metal and wreaked havoc on the rest of the other 7 roofs that were up there. We have pulled off most of that damage. roof and have started to repair that natatorium roof with a 90-day temporary roof. Once that is complete, we will get the rest of the metal off the roof and we will assess all the mechanical damage that has been done at our community center here. Thus far, we are tallying up some of the prices for the replacement of the roofs, and we're above $2 million at this point. So here at our rec center, once we know the rest of the damage, we could be somewhere between 5 and 10 million, and maybe even more. Our city parks were heavily damaged. Behind us, you can see that a set of bleachers have been torn off the pavement and are now sitting at the pitcher's mound where our boys play hardball for the high school. Furthermore, I'd like to say to our residents, thank you. Thank you for being so resilient. Thank you for getting out there and helping each other and cleaning up this town. Our cleanup is not done. We still have a lot of work to do. We'll continue to be there for you. Our power problem here is still there. City Hall is being run on generators. We do have the phones working. We ask that you do call us. Let us know what issues that you do have. If you don't have food, we have different groups and volunteer groups out there that are helping families that do not have any food. And that is our important thing, is making sure that the residents are being taken care of at this point. Furthermore, we have reached out to the governor's office to be able to let him know that we are in a state of emergency and that we could utilize anything that he can give. We could use bodies, trucks, equipment to help with this cleanup. That is imperative to this community. We must clean this up. At the end, I'd just like to say here, I'd like to thank the county executive and his team, the emergency management system that they have put in place here in Brook Park to help with this relief. It is second to none. I hope that everybody understands that we have all come together as a team. Cities have come together. The city of Middleburg Heights, Berea, they have offered up their recreation centers for comfort areas for our residents, and we thank them publicly. I'd like to publicly thank Parma and Parma Heights for working with our teams to be able to open up West 130th, which we would hope to do as early as this evening or possibly even tomorrow. So with that said, I appreciate all the efforts from everybody, and I'd like to welcome to this podium right now somebody that has been stepping up for the city since day one, and that is Representative Tom Patton.
Good afternoon. Not to be duplicative, but several of my cities have been affected by this tragedy. And to all of them, to all the first responders and all the city workers and all the utility workers that have stepped up and even come into town, we can't thank them enough. This is the first time, I believe, in recorded history that 4 individual tornadoes struck down in an individual county at one time. A disaster of which we haven't seen the likes of before. The damage, obviously, that was incurred is incredible. As the mayor pointed out, it happened at 4 o'clock. At 6:30 the next morning, I got a text from the mayor from his command center that he had already established, a shopping list of things that had already been damaged here only in Brook Park without having the opportunity. I immediately forwarded that text at 6:30 in the morning to the governor, whose staff called me back 5 minutes later and said, this is the way things have to happen. The local people have to reach out to the state, and then we'll jump right in. Folks, there's been a disconnect. We have to learn from this. First, we have to take care of all the damage. First, we have to take care of all those folks who've had food go bad, who've had damage to their roofs, who've had all the things that have occurred. And again, a shout out to those residents who said, here, come over and power up your phones. I'm with Power, I can help you out here. That's what makes Ohio, Ohio, because of the type of people that we have here. However, going forward, we need to know that when an incident like this occurs on a Monday and then on a Saturday we're getting a declaration asked for and issued, that's way too long, and that can never happen again. But first, let's get the problem fixed, and then we'll take care of future problems. And again, the state of Ohio stands by, and we've already begun. The input and the ability, the governor had put everybody on high alert yesterday in anticipation of hopefully being contacted for help. And the help is here, and the further help is on the way. So thank you all very much, Your Honor.
Neighboring Brook Park is the city of Parma Heights. It's my privilege to introduce Marie Gallo, Mayor of Parma Heights.
Just like Brook Park, the city of Parma Heights, as well as Parma has experienced significant storm damage. Our crews have been working around the clock to clean debris out of the streets. Our staff is answering phones. We are trying to keep residents up to speed as much as possible on social media, and our senior center has stepped up to make sure our seniors have food, and our first responders, which include police, fire, and our service department, have gone above and beyond to get our city back to normal. I want to thank Mayor Orcutt and Mayor DeGeter for working with me. As Mayor Orcutt had said, we are working together to try to get help and assistance from the state of Ohio. I am grateful to have the County Executive Chris Ronayne and his Office of Emergency Management who have come through and were able to secure a generator for our senior center building to provide light and working elevators for our seniors. I want to thank our fire department for 2 days in a row at the senior building from 5 a.m. until dark, checked on these individual seniors that live in that building, filled their oxygen tanks, and made sure they had somebody to talk to, because a lot of them don't have families to help them. Again, our service departments are the ones that fly under the radar oftentimes. Police and fire, first responders, but our service employees are the ones that clear the road so that our first responders can need to get to where they need to be. So I want to thank the cities of Middleburg, Mayor Castelli, the city of Seven Hills, Mayor Biasiata, for offering their recreation centers as charging stations for our residents. And I want to thank this Parma City School District, who didn't hesitate when we reached out to ask them to open the high schools to offer charging stations to our residents as well. I'm optimistic that the state will come through and assist us, because we need it right now. This storm has been incredible, but as Mayor Orcutt had said, residents are banding together, helping each other get through this. So, as I said, we are optimistic that we're going to get the assistance that we need. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Gallo. As you can see, our mayors have banded together. 13 communities very hard hit, roughly 20% of our county. This has been a devastating storm because 4 tornadoes touched down in the same hour. I thank our mayors for opening up their rec centers, their service centers, and their city halls to their residents to help with critical needs. Again, we're here in Brook Park today for 3 reasons. We're visiting with residents who've been hit, we're visiting with the mayor, who has a lot of public work left to do, and we're visiting here because we have installed here at Brook Park an oxygen providing tank that you can fill up for your loved ones, the oxygen that they need, and has already started here in the last hour in Brook Park. Our work has been ongoing, but our work has just begun. Again, today we declared a state of emergency for Cuyahoga County because we couldn't wait. We needed the state to realize that it is time to recognize the devastation that has happened here and help us appeal to the federal government for FEMA support in the future. I want to give one more shout out to our Office of Emergency Management, who kicked it into high gear from minute 1. They've been out in our communities around the clock, and I want to have Kevin Fries from the Office of Emergency Management take the podium.
Thank you, Executive. Starting about 1 hour after the storms rolled through, we reached out to all of our communities asking what they had in terms of needs, what their damage was, and we had staff out in the field that evening in Bedford doing damage assessments of residences as well as public facilities. The next day we then went out to 12 additional communities that had responded to us, letting us know that they had extensive damage, and completed assessments in those communities as well, talking with their fire chiefs and in some cases their mayors when they were available. Since then, we've been constantly sending out information regarding recovery and assistance and funding assistance. We have finally crossed the potential threshold for public assistance, and that is part of the declaration today. On the individual assistance side, the homes that we were inspecting were not as severely damaged as is required under federal guidelines for damage to residential structures, as well as lack of insurance requirements. We continue to field requests from our communities, and as they come in, we are either fulfilling those locally with our Public Works Department, or going out to neighboring jurisdictions that are less affected to see if they can assist. And if that is not an option, then we are reaching out to the state of Ohio for assistance, and that is how we obtained this oxygen generating device, is from the Ohio Department of Health. This is one of those devices. We were able to secure a second one that we are working to deploy elsewhere in the county with other partners. So there will be more to come on a second location for oxygen supplies, as we are fully aware that our oxygen providers in the region are running out of supplies to be able to replace tanks in a timely fashion. So this is one way that we can bridge that gap until they get additional supplies into the region. I want to remind everyone in the community, please reach out to your local city hall and ask for assistance. If they are unable to provide that assistance, they are more than willing and able to reach out to our office to obtain assistance. Thank you again to all of our public works and service departments and our public safety forces who have been working tirelessly throughout this incident. And thank you to our residents for helping each other and working together to help our community. Thank you very much. Executive?
Thank you again, Kevin. So our message again today is an outreach of thanks to our residents, to our frontline workers, to our mayors, to our life safety workers. Everybody has joined in an all hands on deck to address this emergency, which again, Cuyahoga County has declared a state of emergency here because of the 4 storms that occurred at the same hour on August 6th. I want to give you one more resource in addition to the city halls, the senior centers, the rec centers, who are working with each other across communities to help literally keep the most critical powered devices powered up. We talked about today's oxygen center here in Brook Park. There'll also be one at the Cleveland Clinic. We've talked about going to your rec centers, your senior centers, and your city halls. But there's one other number, and that's 211. Dial 211 at the United Way if you have any need at all. If you're food insecure, if you're looking for support just to pay a bill, if you're looking for ways to just simply survive these most difficult days we've been in, call 211. And that's set up United Way as a frontline service to take your call and to better assist you with what you and your family need. Again, thank you, Cuyahoggans. Our community has been fantastic through this difficult week. We're going to open it up for questions. And again, stay together.
You mentioned there was a disconnect. That was the word that was used today. Can you explain what that is or what that was?
Yeah, the issue that Cuyahoga County has needed is the attention that we don't need to wait for a threshold financially for things to be declared an emergency. We were working by that playbook, and we decided it was ultimately red tape because we are going to meet a threshold of $5.9 million such that a state of emergency kicks in. So I declared it. I got ahead of it and said, it's time. We don't need to enumerate all of the dollars that it takes. We just need to declare this for what it is. We can all see it in our front yards. My power's been out with my family for 5 days. We're all living it. It is a state of emergency. So that had to do with the fact that there is a technical threshold that a county has to reach in order to get the state to acknowledge a state of emergency. We just declared it, and the letter we wrote the governor today is to ask for a waiver for that $5.9 million because we know that we will reach that.
And what are the resources that you're asking for specifically from the state?
In the immediate, it's been supplies like this oxygenator that we have. It's been suggested that also we need chippers to literally help trees get deconstructed. But I want to say our mayors in our communities and our county has band together to provide critical support to one another. Whether it's our public works team that's moving down to utility poles, whether it's our tree cutting services that have worked together to remove trees from the road, they've band together, and I'm proud of the communities of Cuyahoga County, 59 strong, again, to which over 20% of our communities have been hit hard and hundreds of thousands of residents without power.
I know you're saying that you have another mobile auction truck.
Right.
But where can people go to right now besides, I don't know, a hospital or something like that, to get oxygen that they need?
Right here in this parking lot of the city of Brook Park. It's open to all throughout the region. We picked this as a central location. It's a notable location for the damage that's incurred here, but people are showing up right now to get oxygen refills. And thanks again, this has been a good partnership with the state of Ohio on the level of getting oxygen tanks shipped to us and also having our Office of Emergency Management supply the manpower to help residents fill up, as is happening right here, right now.
From what time?
all around the clock.
So it's work 24/7,
Yep.
no
Yep.
matter what?
Yep.
Okay. Also, I have a question for either mayor. Answer both, please. Basically, what are your streets like? I know you told me that the rec center had its roof obviously poured off, but what about your streets? Is there any specific street that still has damages that you're working on right now?
Currently, right now, we are still working on West 130th to open that up between the streets of Settlement Acres and Zaremba in Brook Park. I have worked with Mayor Gallo. We put a plan together approximately about 11:45 last night to join forces to be able to put all of our resources that we could onto West 130th. As the poles have just been installed yesterday, now the cleanup begins. So today we had crews out there with bucket trucks, dump trucks, and we were picking up the debris. And also, I would like to thank Mayor Gallo. She got her street sweeper out there, and we worked as a team to be able to get that together. The street is still currently closed due to the fact that we have to get signal service out there to make sure that the traffic lights, the masts that are attached to them, are secured and safe for the residents.
There was also significant damage on Ridgewood by the shops of Parma. So part of that road is closed for the linemen and women that are working over there to put new poles in. I think about 9 of them fell. So we are waiting for that to be cleaned up as well so that traffic can flow more freely through there in the city of Parma into Parma Heights.
Again, for the two of you, we received some tips that tornado sirens didn't go off in Brook Park or Parma Heights. Is there validity to those claims? Is there something that went wrong?
I can answer that. So it's a manual system that we use at our fire department, and as we were getting the signal that there was a tornado possibility here in the area, our firefighters were watching the roof of the rec center come off. So in essence, there was no time to put it out, and we lost all power on top of that.
It was the same situation for Parma Heights?
We do not have sirens in Parma Heights. I don't believe we ever have. So, but everyone's phones, as you know, got the notification when we were warned about the tornado coming.
For either cities, where else can your residents go for any kind of supplies or anything like that? Once again, food, I know they're saying that they can call 211 for that, but where in your city can they, I'm so sorry, that they can go to get help that they need?
For folks that right now do not have food at their homes, I'm working with some nonprofit organizations that are assisting those in need with food. For those that do not have homeowners insurance and have damage, there's a program that they can fill out for individual assistance, and we are supplying them paperwork to be able to do that.
This past week in Parma Heights, Valley Forge High School was open as a charging station. Residents in Parma Heights are welcome to come to our fire department with their oxygen tanks. Our firefighters are filling those up as we speak. And our service department secured an additional dumpster where our residents can drop off spoiled food, other items like that.
Will the governor be here?
Lieutenant Governor was here this week. I want to clarify one thing on the oxygen. This oxygen's here till 8 o'clock tonight, and then 9 to 5 through the days forthcoming. At your hospitals, your local area hospitals, we've got a outpost at the Cleveland Clinic. But if you need, obviously, oxygen at a time that you're not finding it here in these hours, do seek your local hospital. Any other questions? Yeah, and I want to thank everybody for being here, especially media partners. I also want to thank our life safety forces, our mayors, and we're grateful to the citizens of Cuyahoga County for banding together this week at a most difficult time. Thank you, Cuyahoggans. That's a wrap.
Before you go, one quick remark. The American Red Cross had to cancel a lot of their blood drives that they normally have weekly at the rec centers and at the various places. So there is going to be a shortage now. So if you could advise your listeners that as soon as these rec centers and these blood drives are open again, it's critical for them to, those great people that donate their blood, to get there as quick as they can to kind of avert any possible shortage down the road. So thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you guys. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. That's to you guys.
Terrible sentence.